Hello, Cats and Kittens, or Jose Yoroshka. Back in the Crisis Corner on Manga Monday with my man Dave. Say, hey,
Hey,
there we go. So we getting into One Piece, chapter 1035, Zoro versus King. And it opens with the conclusion of the Sanji Queen fight. And I would say, and it even says definitively that Sanji is the winner of this contest. He caught the eye of the tiger and essentially just destroyed Queen. It wasn't, no different there. We had because we haven't got a chance to talk about Sanji's power up. How you feel about
um, so I'm torn on it. So I story wise, as a character development, I'll say that I think this is probably the best um work character wise Oda has done in the since the time skip. So Sanji's story as a character development is on par. Now, when you look at this as a straight up as a fighting manga, as a shonen fighting manga, I'm not pleased with Sanji's development power
that?
wise. I just it doesn't it's unearned to me. So if it's something that was given to him as a something as opposed to something that he worked on and gained himself. So I don't
That's
enjoy it in that regard.
that's it. So essentially, if he hadn't put on the race suit, he wouldn't have got this power up. And at his level, that level that he established coming into the new world, he wouldn't have been enough. We assume he wouldn't have been strong enough to defeat Queen.
I'm going to say to my mind he wouldn't have defeated Queen. So without that raid suit upgrade, Sanji doesn't take this W.
And he would have the
Otherwise,
power.
I'm calling bull.
So are we to conclude that he had reached his limit at his capacity as a fighter
I don't think
until
that. Well, see, I mean, not to say what, because I will argue that unfortunately for whatever well, and we talked about this before, that essentially to my mind, you run into a situation in which we've done the time skip, and this whole time skip period has been taking place for almost half the amount of time that he's been doing this story.
right.
So development wise, I figure ultimately Sanji and Zoro got the short end of the stick. So we're not watching them level up. So neither of them have leveled up. That we've seen them level up from once the time skip occurred to this point. So this is the first time that he levels up either of these cats as fighters.
Mm.
And I'm assuming he's doing this because I don't want to be doing One Piece forever.
Right.
So they don't get the attention to detail that Luffy's been getting. He's the only cat that since the time skip has been getting time, energy, and effort in terms of development. Truth be told, you get a little thing here for Usopp or whatever, but Luffy's the only of the main three fighters. He's the only one that's getting straight up attention.
Right.
So I just feel like he didn't have time to give them what they deserve. So I'm trying to just be all right with it. I'm trying to convince myself it's okay. But I'm a little disappointed because Sanji, my dude, just
Yeah.
I feel like he deserved better, but it is what it is.
And Oda's close to my age. I get it. I mean, and you know how the writers and the artists over there in Japan, they be having health problems. They got to put it out
Yeah,
weekly. So I'm not going to argue with that. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I give him the benefit. Now, I think that Sanji obviously could have developed farther as a fighter without the racer. I mean, just training. I think he had more potential, but using the racer to bring out that potential is fine, fair. And I think the good payoff that he had here was at the beginning of the fight, he was rejecting the notion of using the Germa genes in him to get stronger because he would turn into a cold-hearted killer like his brothers. And then you close it out with him saving that mouse, which is a callback to the mouse that he was feeding when he was a kid when he had a good heart. So we know that he can dispatch Queen at this point and maintain
Okay.
his heart. Because because he even said at the beginning of the fight, he was figuratively talking to Luffy. which would be more valuable to you? A cold-hearted German killer who can dispatch this guy, but is cold-blooded, and will hit a woman, or me, the dude that you met, that you invited into your crew. So he decided. He turned his back on the German science. He said, "I'm gonna just bang this dude out and see where I can get with it, and see if that's gonna be good enough." And apparently it is. It's because he maintained his heart. He saved that little mouse, for the girl, which is fair. It's a good payoff. I like that. I like that page. So now we get back into the battle with King, and I like the fight as a whole. You know what I'm saying? I like where it's gone to this point. Zoro's been hitting that man, constantly, hitting him with his best shots and having no effect. I still have a question about when he stabbed him in the gut and dude exploded, let loose some kind of explosion. I don't think they ever actually said.
Yeah, where that came from.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. So he has the ability, because, getting to the point, Zoro figures out the secret of his power. Apparently, what he say, when the flame is lit on his back, he's indestructible, but when it goes out, he's just fast, or something to that effect.
Yeah, something like that. I think my problem with this whole thing is essentially when that idea is introduced, and that it becomes a problem for me, because why would you sacrifice your endurance? Your speed. That doesn't even seem necessary to me.
It doesn't. It seemed like a plot device, basically, to give my man the win. Which hey, whatever. I didn't notice that so much myself. I had to go back and read the previous chapters, like when they began the fight, and he hit him with one attack, and I think it drew blood or something. I couldn't remember if the flame was up on his back or not. It seemed kind of like a random type thing to do, or a random type issue to bring into the story. But ultimately, we know Zoro was going to win, so I didn't really, give it that much thought. So I was like, like, you know what I'm saying? Well, it was cool. Like, they go back into King's past, how he's a Lunarian.
Yeah.
His old men, for some reason, felt like they needed to say that out loud. It was a bounty by the world government that if you ever came across a Lunarian, you could turn him in for 100 million berries. For some reason, they felt they needed to say that out loud. So he went Bankai and killed them all. I was like, Slim, boy, keep your mouth shut. Just think it in your head, because he burned all.
It got real.
Yeah, quick.
It got real hot real quick.
He didn't say nothing. He was just like, Bankai. Boom. And that was the end of that, So at this point, it's just like, and then they get back into the fight and it gets real, because, like, I ain't gonna say Zoro mocked him, but he kind of did, yeah. He said, if you go, you got time to be killing your people once you come in here, let's do this, basically. So, but I do like the fight. I do like the battle between the two of them. It was, I'm not saying that it's not the most, I don't know what you should call it. It wasn't really personal or anything, but none of Zoro's fights are
exceptionally
really
personal. Yeah, I'm with you.
You're the second. We both the first henchman to our captain, so let's do this.
And somebody, yeah. I'm with you. Which essentially was their, I guess their dialogue toward each other was essentially, you guys have been in that spot for too long.
Yeah.
And we coming for it. And your man is like, nah, man, Kaido gonna be the one to be the Pirate King. And I'm like, so that's essentially what it was. And I respect it. I think
the biggest thing in this fight was Zoro figuring out his swords.
Yeah.
Figuring out what it means to what and I keep bringing up Bankai because to me it started to turn into like Bleach a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that I do like about this is when from Zoro's side, it's not like, mystical Bankais and stuff like that. It's just basically swordsmanship. He's throwing slashes, he's throwing this and that. Stuff that's been established that, swordsmen can do. and I don't know if he's going to make his blades black and soon, but it seems like he's getting the hang of using advanced hardening and advanced conquerors quicker than I thought he would. Because I mean, for an example, when King tries to snatch the swords from him, it seems to me that he willingly used his conquerors or something. I don't know if it was conquerors, advanced hardening to separate himself from King. You said, "Don't you dare! You're not going to take my swords again." And you see them black lightning come out. And he basically blows him back willingly using his haki, which is, I mean, he's taken to this pretty quickly. I mean, how long did it take Luffy to figure out, certain aspects of haki, knowing that he had it?
I mean,
like when fighting Katakuri, he knew he had observation. He was working it out during that fight, I guess. But say, like, for example, he knew he had armament. But during that fight, I don't think actually, for a fact, he didn't figure out the advanced form of hardening until he got to Wano.
That's true.
He didn't figure it out in fight at that point because he was figuring out observation. And he just had to deal with the fact that dude's armament was better. I don't know if Katakuri was using real. I don't know, to be honest, but it seems like his armament was stronger than Luffy's.
I mean, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. But Zoro's pretty much just figured out that he's got kings and I think he had Rio for a minute already. Matter of fact, for a while.
But I think so too, probably. But I think I'm with you. I think in terms of, because I'm with you. I mean, because I think, because Luffy seems to me to be a hockey specialist. So you raised I think a great point, because Luffy, that's his bread and butter. He's learning hockey, and I mean he's learning from the feet of masters in fights. Old man Hyo taught him, in the prison. Yeah, so, and he's essentially learned advanced conquerors from Kaido. So I'm with you in that, I mean, he's been taking them hits on the head, man. Yeah, man. Like, I mean, like he learned, future sight from Katakuri. He learned that during his fight. So I'm gonna do what this guy's doing, and I'm gonna do it, whatever. And it's the same thing with Kaido and advanced conquerors. So I'm with you. Zoro kind of pulled that on. I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one.
What do you think about the back? Well, I guess it's just one page, but the backstory for King.
I hate it. I'll be honest with you. I liked it. I liked this chapter a lot. I liked actually, fight wise, I like this fight better than the Sanji Queen. Mm-hmm. Story wise, I like the Sanji Queen much better. That's one of the baddest things going. Fight wise, I can't wait to see this fight animated. But I like the back. I like the backstory. King and Kaido meeting at Imple Downs. I liked it
because it seems like I can't remember what their ages are. So when he ran into King, or what is his name, Albert or something?
Albert or something.
I'd have went with King too, but like he was just a kid. So it's not necessarily. You can see some comparisons between Luffy and Zoro when they first met. Zoro was tied up to a post. He liberated him, and they went off to have their adventures. This is more like I don't see King and Kaido aren't necessarily peers, where one agrees to be subordinate to the other, but they're basically peers. It almost seemed like a father-son almost type thing. But I can't remember what their ages are. So I think this could be that King is shorter than Kaido, and they just I don't know.
I think Kaido, I want to say 10, 15 years, somewhere in there. Somewhere in there, older than King. So he's.
But it seemed like again, Oda's on the timetable. He don't want to do this forever. This seemed back in the day. It seemed like this flashback would have been long. You know what I'm saying? This would have been half a book. And then they go into how, they were starving and how they, fought the gods. And it was kind of like it probably would have been on the level of
Punk Hazard. I said Impel Downs. I meant to say Punk Hazard.
Oh, there you go. Right.
Yeah, gotcha.
I think it would have been like Law and what you call him? What's the man?
Oh, Corazon.
Corazon and Law backstory. Back and forth and back. But he like, yo, all right, one page, boom. You know what I'm saying? Which is fair. Like I said, he's on a timetable. He ain't got time for the old long backstories. But yeah, okay. So the backstory was cool, and then the end of the fight, I think, was just kind of like Sanji. Zoro caught the eye of the tiger. He was done. He figured out all he had to figure out, and then it's cool. It's absolutely cool in the respect that man hit him with his Bankai again, and it just didn't work. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I feel like there was a little bit more back and forth in King Zoro versus. So my problem, and we talked about this before. My problem with the Queen Sanji fight is I think Queen hit that man twice during the whole on that we've seen. He hit him twice. Sanji, I needed to be a fight. King kept tagging Zoro. Zoro kept getting tagged. And I know they're different characters and Oda likes to present them differently, but I want Sanji to get into a fight. I want him to have a scrap. I want that man, I want him to bloody somebody, but somebody to bloody him. That's why my favorite Sanji fight, and I know people gonna be like, well, he was put on the face of a woman, is Sanji versus Bon Clay. That's my favorite Sanji fight, the whole joint, because the babies was kicking the hell out of each other.
I think that's the hardest fight that he's ever had.
They were kicking the hell out of each other.
And what you call him? In his lobby, who was he fighting?
Jabra. He punished Jabra.
Jabra had a second. He has a second where he might have been able to pull it out.
A second.
It just, he came off at the mouth a little too reckless.
Yeah, man.
He just caught it. He just caught it. I mean, it's kind of like with Queen. He kept going on about German or whatever.
German this, German that.
It cost him. It cost him at the end. So I agree with you. On that one. This fight, like I say, Zoro figured out his and I still like his fight with Mr. One back in.
Oh yeah, that was a hell of a fight.
That was a fight. I expected him to be drenched in blood and all that stuff, but he ultimately dispatched King. He did. He did. He dispatched this man, which makes me think again, as we talked about in the past, when he came into the New World, he was crazy strong. He just didn't have an opportunity to show it. Which is why I wish King would have been fleshed out a little bit more so you could see the gravity of him taking this dude out.
I agree with you. I do think he came into the New World incredibly strong. I also think this is, I think part of the appeal of Zoro is I think he's an awesome right-hand man. I really think he's amazing because it's, because I know people, the idea would be, well, if he was so strong, why he ain't beat Doflamingo? Why he, such and such and such and such? And I feel like if he did that, and Luffy's dream is to be Pirate King, it would never come true.
That's real tough.
I really feel like, if I'm running around taking out all these cats and Luffy's not growing, I honestly do believe he came into the New World stronger than Luffy. I think that at this point in time, Luffy didn't surpass him until this arc. You'd have to prove me wrong, because I'll tell anybody to their face, if this is a battle manga, dressed in pirates and adventure, then I would say what separates Oda to me from other cats is Oda's a traditionalist in that there are two ways to level up in shonen manga. Either you come to a hurdle, and either you're gonna scale it, and you do that by training, or you're going to run through it. And you do that by fighting. So you got to level up and get to that point, whereas whatever. And Zoro didn't hit a hurdle until this arc. Yeah. So that leads me to believe he was near this level up until this point. Yeah. And that wasn't the case for Luffy. So I honestly feel like, the man captain is captain level now. He got him where he needed to be, and now it's time for all these cats to grow.
Agree. And last thing I'll say in terms of this fight is that final attack was the King of Hell, 3 serpents, 103 mercies, dragon damnation. I'm like, that's nice. I mean, the art is amazing. Symbolically, are we saying that him trashing this dragon is Bankai, obviously, but does that eliminate him killing Kaido?
I guess so, because at this point, it's all going to depend on what state you leave Kaido in. Excuse me, what state you leave Zoro in after this blow. So
he still got to recover from the medicine.
Because he also cutting off that man wing. I'm trying to tell you
this fight is over. I mean, let's put it like that. Somebody said they got his arm. I can't tell, but he definitely got the wing. I can't. No, I think his arm's still attached. His sword is finished. His sword has been cut in half. He lost the wing. He probably lost his life. I'm not sure, but he hit him dead center in the chest. That was horrifying. He put that dude down for real. He destroyed his Bankai, hit him dead in the chest, and cut off his wing. So I don't see him coming back. I mean,
so
they kind of to me the Beast Pirates kind of laid down a little bit, you know. To me, because they had a harder time in this lobby fighting the CPU cats, you know. That was
I'm with you. I'm not even going to fake. So I agree with you on this one a little bit. I'm a little disappointed in the Beast Pirates. And because I wanted closer fights. And some of this stuff you see like a straight power creep, like with the lower cards. That's a problem for me. Like I don't know that Frankie should have, Sasaki should have gave a little bit more go. So I'm a little disappointed in some of the performances from the Beast Pirates. But in terms of Zoro, not to get too far, in terms of Zoro killing Kaido, I never really was on board with that per se. It depended on how that fight played out.
Yeah.
So this might take that off the table because it just depends. Because if that drug stops working as soon as he finishes this blow, then he out. It's a wrap.
Mm-hmm. And but it does do the call back to monsters, I guess.
Yeah.
His ancestor killing the dragon. Man,
he did kill a dragon. He did cut off
an actual dragon.
Well, yeah.
And Zoro's killed a dragon back in Punk Hazard.
Yeah, exactly.
He destroyed my man's Bankai, which looked like a dragon. So that kind of counts too.
Well, I think too, it depends on where Oda goes in terms of are we using Kaido again? Like, is he going to come up? I mean, I know he doesn't do rematches and so forth, but is he still going to be a player in the world at large? Because Luffy's not going to kill him. So
no, he doesn't kill anybody. Yeah,
but if
I'm curious, how are they going to be involved in the fight? Period. Him, Sanji passed out, so I guess he's not.
I mean, do you think they need to be at this point in time? I mean, Kaido ran through a whole bunch of stuff.
Super can even in his condition is weakening, and finally, but can Luffy see if Luffy 1v1s him now? It's the same as the Katakuri fight. You didn't really.
It is. It is.
At some point, he's going to have to muscle up and hit somebody's head up and beat them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's going to be Blackbeard. I don't know if it's going to be Inu or is it going to be whoever. At some point, he's going to have to level up. And the only time he's really done that, I think, was what? My man Rob Lucci, maybe? I think he 1v1 beat Rob.
Okay.
That's
all right. Yeah, I'll give you that one. You get the Hody Jones and whatever, but he don't really count. But I'm with you.
He was a jobber. He was just
I'm with you. So I agree with you. So Oda has a trend, and I think this keeps to that trend. Whereas if he beats Kaido at this point, it's not he beat Kaido because he couldn't. If he fought him again, straight up 1v1, everybody rested, everybody comes 100%. I got Kaido taking that fight. So
yeah, unless
I mean,
unless, and I don't want to make this too long, unless you backtrack and say like, if at this point, if Luffy fought Katakuri again, I think Luffy would beat him. But
yeah,
that's
I
only
got Luffy
because
beating Katakuri.
he leveled up in this fight. Now, if he
Yeah.
comes back after beating Blackbeard and fought Kaido again, he would probably beat Kaido, assuming that Blackbeard's stronger than Kaido right now. Because he would need to level up after barely surviving Kaido in this fight. He has to fight somebody stronger than Kaido next.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, but that's the trend. So essentially, I would say that until he fought Katakuri, had he fought Doflamingo again, Doflamingo would have beat him 1v1.
Right.
I feel confident in saying, he won that fight, but he wasn't on Doflamingo's level. I feel confident saying that. I feel confident saying that after he fought Katakuri, I'm with you. Like we talked about this, had he fought that fight again, 1v1, nobody stabbing themselves in the chest with their trident.
Right.
Katakuri wins that fight, and I'm with you at this point in time. Like your man, he didn't fought, the Scabbards. He didn't fought, the worst generation. He fought Luffy 1v1. He didn't fought Yamato 1v1. He's fighting Luffy again, and he's doing this while lifting up that big ass Onigashima.
Right.
He's carrying this big thing on his table, so on his back. So I'm with you.
It seems like since this is over, all right, so we don't have to worry about King no more.
King is out.
Can Law and my man Kid defeat Big Mom?
I'm calling bull on that
one.
I'm calling bull. Bull. I'm calling straight. There's nothing that can happen.
Yes, man. There's no way. And it may be in a divine intervention or something, because I see no reason. I don't care what you was talking about, the awakening, whatever. I see nothing that tells me that they can beat Big Mom, and Big Mom hasn't been touched. I mean, they got in a couple of shots here and there, but by and large, she hasn't been touched. So I'm assuming the next fight is Big Mom against Law and Kid, and then we get back to Luffy.
I'm calling bull. Like I'm trying to tell you, like, and I got you because your man Kid was like, if I can't beat her down, like whatever. Firstly, y'all had to jump her. So no matter what comes of this, I'm calling bull. Like there's nothing.
She's beyond.
I don't see it.
She's beyond. She's beyond them right now. Now maybe in a couple of years they can level up.
Maybe, but I'm calling bull. They can't beat Big Mom.
Nah.
Maybe if Zoro comes through and he lands there and he's like, "I'm gonna help you fight her." Maybe if Killer pulls. Yeah, man. Because I just don't see it. I really just don't see it. Yeah. Like I'm calling bull.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that.
That's what we got to look forward to. I'm assuming the next fight is going to be that.
I'm assuming as much.
That Fatal 3 area or whatever you want. Not. Actually, it's a 2-on-1 jump, but
yeah,
it shouldn't end well for them too.
Nah, I mean, it shouldn't. Like, I mean, I'm more apt to say I feel more comfortable with Luffy defeating Kaido.
Yeah,
which I still think is a hard pull.
Yeah,
Kid and Law beating Big Mom. But we'll tell you that off the break.
I still got the sneaking suspicion there's going to be some level of a jump with Kaido. But if he does it one-on-one, I mean, like I said, he suffered enough.
A whole bunch.
It should end for Kaido at some point.
A whole bunch. Like, real talk. Like, Kaido comes off as a monster to me. That's why I think people are straight up lunching when they talk about Admirals on the level with the Yonko. I don't see it. Like, I just like this is just ridiculous. Like, I've never seen anything. This is a Whitebeard level showing.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you that off the break. Like, this dude has been getting damaged, as far as I can tell, for hours in continuity. Like, he's drunk off the break. He was drunk, he was partying, and he's been being beat on for a long time, and he's whipping people's ass. Like, I don't know.
I'm telling you, like I said, I don't want to make this longer than it has to be, but I'm going with my original theory. Is the Blackbeard sweeps him on the end and gets his third devil fruit.
That's where you go with.
He go with that Zoro, man, because he got everything else. He got a Paramecia, he got Logia, so he got
I didn't see the few Blackbeard theories that we're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to chop up after after this. But yeah, I'm
But
with
that
you.
would be crazy. Then he'd be crazy strong, and then you need to level up to get him. You know.
Yeah.
But so okay, good enough. So King versus Zoro goes to Zoro, destroyed his Bankai and took him out. So it's going to be a couple of weeks before the next One Piece chapter. So we're going to do a top 20 strongest characters list. And clearly, Zoro's going to be on there somewhere.
Somewhere.
Possibly
Controversy
King,
is coming.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. King possibly too,
I
if he
respect
survived.
King. I respect King.
Yeah.
Not to say we didn't get into it, but I actually feel like, and I don't know if this was by design by Oda or what, but I actually feel like there are a lot of similarities in terms of presentation with King and Sanji in terms of what they offer. High speed fighters. I think King is nastier. But high speed fighters, heavy endurance, like whatever.
And going back to speed, I mean, and again, I don't want to get sidetracked, but going back to Sanji and Queen,
yeah,
I was interested in the fact that Queen ranked Sanji's speed, not ranked it, but basically equated it. He equaled that to invisibility. You know, like sometimes in manga they say, you can barely
flash
see his
step.
movement.
Yeah, flash
It's
step.
like dude was like he disappeared. Now it was reckless to use that because it drew on his stamina a lot, but he was so fast that he could not be seen. So that level of speed with his level of armament basically and exoskeleton or whatever, Sanji, I'm curious where he will show up on the list. Sanji's elevated in my mind, but we'll get to that when we do our list.
All right.
I'd like to see him fight King too.
Cool. I don't want to give it away, but he might make my list too. But I like to see. I don't know. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to I got you.
Okay, so and you can put your comments in the comment section. What you think of the fight between Zoro and King? What you think about King's Bankai? All of that. Otherwise, look forward to our ranking list, our top 20, and we got like 5 honorable mentions. Until then, stay loose.
Later.
Bankai!